Hello, this presentation is for my EDFR 8391L course with Dr. Pierre Liu. My topic of research was the socioeconomic status and its effect on TEA's 8th grade Science STAAR examination. For my abstract, the purpose of the study is for a correlation between a student's family, socioeconomic status, and their performance on the 8th grade Science STAAR exam. In areas that are populated and concentrated with individuals of this economic status, children are not exposed to extra supplementary educational materials in comparison to those of better economic standing. Less exposure to educational programs, technology, and hardships within their personal lives at home thus leads to lower performance overall within the science classroom. The author will analyze students' test scores from the 2021-2022 school year at the MEETS category on the STAAR exam where it comes into question. Now, on the Science STAAR examinations, it is split into three different performance areas. There are the does not meet, approaches, meets, and master's level. For the purpose of this study, I will be using the meets category since the bulk of students tend to be either here or at the approaches level, so it will be too big of a study. For my literature review, I did want to get multiple themes for my literature review. My first one was creating an equal playing field in education. My second focus for my literature review was what exactly is socioeconomic status. My third is science not taught at the elementary level and the new method of STAAR measurement. Now, within creating an equal playing field in education, not all schools are exactly funded equal in their pursuits to educate the students. Therefore, less money is available to buy material for the science classroom and creating engaging lessons. Now, there was a study where it did show that when you tended to have areas that were of bigger concentrations of students of low economic status, there was less funding for these schools because many of the funds that are for the education or for the public schools do come from these low, actually from local and state taxes. So there was less money, I guess you could say, picked up for these schools for funding books, different educational platforms like the EduSmart, or textbooks for the students. Now, what exactly is socioeconomic status? According to Avernetti, he defines it as the educational level of parents, occupational level of parents, home possessions, and home literacy resources. And according to the American Psychological Association, Thomas and Stockton, individual and school poverty had a clear negative effect on student achievement, and the students who attended schools with the highest percentages of poor students did perform worse. Now, I have seen this a lot in my tenure as an 8th grade science teacher where science is not taught within the elementary school. Now, in this section, the author focused on how science instruction is minimally taught in the elementary levels to focus on reading and math. And then, because of this, reading and math are focused because at the 3rd and 4th grade level for STAAR examinations, they all 8 hours of instruction are focused here because those are the only 2 STAAR tests that there is. It's not until the 5th grade where the actual teacher is forced to try to squish in 6 years of science content within a year to try to get them to make up for those lost years and to pass their 5th grade science STAAR examination. And then within the 6th grade and 7th grade level, since there's no test, by the time the student gets to 8th grade, then as an 8th grade teacher, we do have to hurry and educate these students on those missing TEKs. Now, as of the STAAR examination implementation, there are new methods to measure STAAR progress and performance. These scores are measured and classifications are determined by comparing a student's GAIN score, the difference between a student's 2020 and 2021 scale score, and the 2018-2019 score to a progress target. Like I said, there are different measurements. It's not like before with the tax examination where students either passed, failed, or received commended performance. Now with the new STAAR test, they either get approaches, meets, masters, or did not meets on their examination. Now, the methods used within this study to see the actual STAAR passing rates, I did conduct a study of 30 different school districts throughout the state of Texas, including areas all over the state. I did get school districts from Deep South Texas. I did get school districts from West Texas, North Texas, East Texas, and the Central Texas locations, including the areas of San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, and other various metropolitan areas around the state. I did use the state taper reports for the 2021-2022 school year and not receive any information from the previous year, since this was a corona year, which the scores were not counted towards the accountability measurements. Now, I did collect data from a variation of district sizes. I did have three main categories. I had areas of small, medium, and large school districts. I did have the following districts within my study. I have the Dos Cons district, Valentine, Marathon, Terlingua, Sierra Blanca, Apple Springs, Olfred, Montague, Comstock, Lometa, Chicos, Meyer, Port Aransas, Mumford, George West, Lyford, Breckenridge, Brooks, Bowie, Mathis, Ponder, Raymondville, Gonzales, Fort Stockton, La Feria, Zapata, Alamo Heights, Flower Bluff, Texarkana, and San Benito. Now, since I did have districts from all over the state, I did want to get different sizes, so that way it was not just biased to large school districts or small school districts, because of different factors, including funding and just different areas where districts might have other factors to go ahead and help their students out. Now, I went ahead and with the taper report, I did look at the percentage of economic disadvantages, the percent of individuals who were economically disadvantaged within the school district. So at the Dos Cons school district, I had 0 of the students who were considered economically advantaged, and it ranged all the way to Raymondville ISD, where 89.2% of the individuals were economically disadvantaged. So with that different district size, there were differences when it did come to individuals who were economically disadvantaged. And now within this chart here, you did have those same various school districts with the percentage passing on the 8th grade STAAR examination based on the SES. So you had Apple Springs, which 67% of the students did pass their STAAR 8th grade science examination. And pretty much the next few, including Breckenridge, Mumford, Olford, and Comstock, were the highest performing school districts, but they did happen to also be one of the largest school districts as well. After that, the scores did dip pretty low, going all the way to Terlingo, Marathon, Valentine, and Dos Cons ISDs, where none of their students passed the 8th grade STAAR examination. Within this graph right here, I did create a scatter plot to go ahead and compare the amount of individuals who were economically disadvantaged with the percent passing. So there were a few outliers, such as in Comstock and in Port Aransas, where it did not correlate with my study. However, those are outliers that I did not take into effect into my study. However, some of the biggest differences you could see are within Marathon ISD and their percent passing rate. So you did have basically 0% passing. However, that's where you saw that there was an 80% economically disadvantaged. Also, you saw in districts like Zapata County, where you had approximately 30% of the students pass the STAAR examination. Meanwhile, they had, if I am correct, close to 90% of their students who were considered economically disadvantaged. So this data is, the same pattern is seen throughout the study, where the higher number of economically advantaged students, the higher the number, the lower the chance they were to pass their 8th grade STAAR examination. In conclusion, there is a direct correlation between a student's socioeconomic status and their ability to perform on the 8th grade STAAR exam. Factors like school funding and less resources at home lead to this decrease in performance, and additional funding, tutoring, and targeted one-on-one instruction with online learning platforms are possible ways to help Texas students in the area of science. Here are all the references I did use within my research paper. If there are any other further questions regarding my study, you can feel free to reach out to me via my email at b.l.duran.2@gmail.com or a phone call. Thank you so much. Have yourself a good day.